The next morning, Emily felt restless. She was worried about how strange her mother had sounded on the phone the night before, so she wanted to make sure her mother was okay. She finally decided to call her mother's neighbor in Willow Creek, an elderly woman named Mrs. Henderson, using a landline. "Mrs. Henderson, is my mother okay?" Emily asked. There was a pause on the other end of the line. "Emily?" Mrs. Henderson's voice was heavy. "You don't know yet, do you?" Emily's heart pounded. "Know what?" Mrs. Henderson was silent for a moment before finally saying, "Sweetheart, your mother passed away a year ago." Emily's world seemed to stop spinning. "What?" Her voice barely came out. "Your mother passed away exactly a week after you left for the city. A heart attack. We tried to contact you, but your number was difficult to reach at the time." Emily felt sick. This couldn't be real. She had spoken to her mother every week for the past year. "But my mom has been calling me," she whispered. Mrs. Henderson was silent for a long time. You're still receiving calls from Helen?" she asked, her voice filled with fear. Emily didn't know how to answer. Suddenly, her phone rang. On the screen, Emily froze. She felt the blood drain from her body, a call from her mother. Right at this moment, with trembling hands, she slowly pulled the phone away from her ear. "Emily?" Mrs. Henderson's voice echoed from the landline. Emily didn't respond. She only stared at her phone with wide eyes. The screen kept vibrating, the name Mom flashing again and again. And then, after what felt like a lifetime, the call stopped on its own. But just before the screen returned to normal, Emily saw something that nearly made her lose consciousness. On the screen, the call duration read 12 minutes. Emily hadn't answered the call, but it had already been going on for 12 minutes. As if someone had already been talking to her before she even picked up.